What got you into fantasy? Dragonlance. Reading Narnia and Redwall as a kid. The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, and Dungeons and Dragons. Harry Potter. Started reading the series when I was 9 or 10, around when the third book came out. My middle school library. Such a magical place to be at that age. Sadly, mine was Sword of Truth series when I was 12. Tried reading it a year ago. God, is it cringe. Probably The Lion, The Witch, and the Wardrobe when I was in grade school. Showing my age, but Eddings in 3rd grade in the early 90s prior to the widespread child abuse knowledge, then gifted the first 3 Wheel of Time books for Christmas in 4th grade, opened my eyes to mature fantasy. Been going strong ever since. Mistborn got me into reading full stop. Never read a book for 30 years, and just one day picked it up and have been reading pretty much every day since. Read the whole Cosmere after haha. Dragonlance, Hobbit, and Lord of the Rings in the early 80s. T.A. Barron and Tamora Pierce when I was a kid. I didn't read any for a long time, and then I jumped back in with Farser a few years ago. The Book of Three, and the rest of the Chronicles of Prydain in the 1970s. Tolkien, Pratchett, Le Guin. When I was in the Navy, my ship's library was really tiny and mostly full of war novels like Tom Clancy stuff. But I was cleaning it one day, and I saw Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. That book saved me from some dark times and propelled me into reading habits that have kept me going for years since. R.A. Salvatore, Drizzt, Artemis, etc. I'm 66, almost 67. It was Lord of the Rings, although I read The Hobbit first. I read LOTR in the 6th grade. Been a fantasy fan ever since. 1001 Nights. Probably my mother reading Dragon Riders of Pern books to me when I was 4. My boyfriend, when I was 17, introduced me to a recently published book, A Storm of Swords, back in 2002. Then, The Dragon Bone Chair. I was hooked from then on. He was definitely a dud, but 23 years later, I still appreciate the world he opened up to me. The Lion, The Witch, and the Wardrobe in 1st grade. A Court of Thorns and Roses was my first real exposure, and I devoured those books. I realized very quickly that I liked fantasy way more than romantasy. Now it's pretty much all I read. This year I fell in love with Name of the Wind, Mistborn, and I've just started Red Rising. Terry Brooks, Robert Jordan, Margaret Weiss plus Tracy Hickman. In that order. As a young child, from time to time I would sit in the hallway and fumble through the small assortment of books on my mother's shelf. There was one book that stood above the rest, that I would find myself frequently returning to, and still do to this day. Dinotopia by James Gurney. Sword of Shannara. Catherine Kurtz's Darani series. Yeah, I'm old LMAO.